Hey everybody, good morning to you from the Sunnyvale Reject here in dark West Palm Beach. It's so early in the morning, I really don't know what kind of day it's going to be, but hey, there's no work and I'm still breathing, so I'm going to make it an amazing day, and I hope that you do too. Today I got a short, sweet video for you. I want to show you 7 classic novels that do not suck. In fact, I'll go a step further and say that what I'm about to show you are 7 gateway classics. Classics that will inspire you to pick up another. Short and sweet. That's all there is to it, baby. And each book on this list I've probably read 2 or 3 times at least. They really did inspire me, and I hope they inspire you too, if you take a chance on them. So without further delay, let me show you some books. Book 1 is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Chronicle of a Death Foretold. This book is like 120 pages. No, it's probably not even that long. It is exactly 120 pages with a really nice chunky font. You know, this book is a breeze and will lead you directly to 100 years of solitude. So Gabriel Garcia Marquez was born in Colombia. He died in Mexico City. He was a very, very disciplined writer and credited his 2 sons with his writing schedule. And John F. Kennedy said, for example, that 100 Years of Solitude should be read like the Bible. I say start here. A man returns to the town where a baffling murder took place 27 years earlier, determined to get to the bottom of the story just hours after marrying the beautiful Angela Victorio. Everyone agrees Bayardo San Roman returned his bride in disgrace to her parents. His distraught family forced her to name her first lover, and her twin brothers announced their intention to murder Santiago Nassar for dishonoring their sister. A hallucinatory detective story is what this is, and you're going to love it. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, winner of the 1928 Nobel Prize for Literature. God, I hope I'm right about that date. All right. Let me get a little sip of water out of my FIFA Club World Cup 2025 cup. I found myself on TV the other day. That's weird. I stood out like a sore thumb in that crowd with my gray beard, and I was wearing a Manchester City like away jersey that's like dark blue and yellow stripes, so I stood out like a sore thumb. Book 2, Alas, Babylon by Pat Frank, published in 1959. It's a post-apocalyptic novel that takes place in a small Florida town. I loved it. I picked it up by accident. At the time, it was between this and Brave New World by Huxley. I chose this, and I'm glad I did. I read Huxley later, but this book fit the bill back then. Let's see. Alas, Babylon. Those fateful words heralded the end. When a nuclear holocaust ravages the United States, 1,000 years of civilization are stripped away overnight, and tens of millions of people are killed instantly. But for one small town in Florida, miraculously spared, the struggle is just beginning as men and women of all backgrounds join together to confront the darkness. And we simply must come together. Isn't it a shame, though, that it would take aliens coming down trying to conquer the planet, or a damn nuclear war or massive worldwide flood for us to come together? It shouldn't be that way, y'all. The media wants to keep us separated because they know if we are joined and united, there is nothing they can do to stop us. Read this book. You're going to love it. And who knows, it might lead you to Aldous Huxley, Pirandello. You never know. Philip K. Dick, maybe. Who knows? Alas, Babylon. Pat Frank. Book 3. This book changed me. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Sylvia, she was born in Boston in 1932 in Jamaica Plains, I think, and she died by suicide February the 11th of 1963. And she was a leader in the confessional poetry movement, women's lit movement. When she passed away, what a shame, man. She was a phenomenal poet. Maybe she would have wrote other novels. Who knows? She was friends with Anne Sexton, a fellow female Pulitzer Prize winner, also committed suicide. What the hell is up with that? But read this book and you will love it. And then you might move on to her poetry and then maybe Virginia Woolf, somebody like that. Who knows where you'll go after reading Plath. But definitely read Anne Sexton's poems, you know. All right, so The Bell Jar. It chronicles the crack up of Esther Greenwood. Brilliant, beautiful, enormously talented and successful. Sounds like Plath. But slowly going under, maybe for the last time. Sylvia Plath masterfully draws the reader into Esther's breakdown with such intensity that Esther's insanity becomes completely real and even rational. As probable and accessible an experience as going to the movies. Such deep penetration into the dark and harrowing corners of the psyche is an extraordinary accomplishment and has made The Bell Jar a haunting American classic. Yes, indeed. I probably read Flannery O'Connor before this book, but I remember reading them both around the same time. And again, who knows where this will lead you? Probably to her poetry, probably to Anne Sexton. Who knows? Joyce Carol Oates. I'd love to find out. Leave a note in the comments. And if you've read them, if you love them, tell me what you think. And please like and subscribe and tell your friends to check out the Sunnyvale Reject and know that I pay it forward. Book 4. I don't know what the hell to say about this book. It's the Master and Margarita, Mikhail Bulgakov. The devil comes to Moscow. And all hell breaks loose. But this is a farcical, funny novel with some really, really deep characters and some biblical references. I mean, it's just a wonderful book. Oh, actually, I marked a page. I wanted to read something about this. This was one of those books that simply had to be written. I haven't figured out why yet, but I don't claim to know everything. I'm no sage on the stage. If I don't get something, I read it again. Or again, if I, am interested in it, I read, biographical sketches, I read essays, reviews, critiques, so I can know what the hell's going on. Because if I don't get it, I know it's my fault. Because the author definitely had a plan and an agenda and some moral or some message to proffer. But it's a funny, good book that almost wasn't published. All right, check this out. Bulgakov began work on the first version of the novel early in 1929, or possibly at the end of 28. They don't really know. It was abandoned, taken up again, burned, resurrected, recast, and revised many times. It accompanied Bulgakov through the period of greatest suffering for his people, the period of forced collectivization, and the first 5-year plan, which decimated Russia's peasantry and destroyed her agriculture. There you go. The Master and Margarita. And it's a nice, it's paperback, of course, but it's a nice copy. Looks good on the shelf, feels good in the hands, and great for gift giving. Listen to this review that Daniel Radcliffe wrote. See what you think about this. Nothing in the whole of literature compares with The Master and Margarita. One spring afternoon, the devil, trailing fire and chaos in his wake, weaves himself out of the shadows and into Moscow. Mikhail Bulgakov's fantastical, funny, and devastating satire of Soviet life combines two distinct yet interwoven parts. One set in contemporary Moscow, the other in ancient Jerusalem, each brimming with historical, imaginary, frightful, and wonderful characters. Give it a shot. It comes in at a whopping 392 pages. Less than Stephen King. Give it a shot. You'll love it. All right, let me get a sip of water here. It's so hot in Florida, it's really hard to drink coffee. Even right now, it's probably 6 a.m. It's dark outside, but it's still too hot for coffee. All right, moving right along. This is 1988. Paulo Coelho, I hope I'm saying it right, The Alchemist. 150 million copies sold, translated into 80 languages, and it won 115 international prizes. Can you believe that? That is a modern classic, but also a commercial success. It's really unheard of. Stephen King, yes. Okay. Shakespeare at this point, yes. But it's one of the best-selling books of all time, and it's a phenomenal story about I'll read this, but it's about a shepherd boy that has a recurring dream about a treasure buried at the pyramids, but he doesn't know what it really is, but he knows he's got to get there, and he meets a lot of people along the way. A journey of self-discovery, like another book we're about to check out. To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. Let me repeat that. That's from The Alchemist. To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. Think about that and take it to heart. All right. This is another good copy, too. I think this is, the 25th anniversary. Nice paperback. I don't know what you call this, but I marked my pages with it. I don't know. And it's got that good paper. Easy to grab. Looks good, too, All right, so let's see what it says. And forgive me if I'm not saying his name right, I can't believe this book only has 3.9 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. He was a Brazilian dude born in 1947, and the book was banned in Iran. Coelho's enchanting novel has inspired a devoted following around the world. This story, dazzling in its powerful simplicity and soul-stirring wisdom, is about an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago who travels from his homeland in Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of a treasure buried near the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who calls himself king, and an alchemist, all of whom point Santiago in the direction of his quest. Like The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, this book's got to be read. You should read this. And if you have children, make them read it. It's a good book. Nice copy. Cheap on Amazon. Where we at? All right, so next book, another great copy, one that I read around the same time that I read The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And it was one of those times where I was in college, right? And it was a thin line between being the ignorant, poor person that I grew up being. I hate to say that, but I was. Books enlightened me, expanded my worldview, challenged me in ways that had never been challenged before, but also took me around the world, introduced me to exotic cultures, and reading has made all the difference. And this book matters to me. It's Siddhartha, Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha, an Indian novel, another book about a journey of self-discovery. Another great copy, good for gift giving. And let's see what the page count is. Another short book. These books are so short. Isn't that crazy? The books that are about enlightenment, they're small. The Prophet, The Alchemist, Siddhartha, they're short. What does that say? You don't need a whole lot of words to say something vital, critical, and important that people must hear, right? Okay. Siddhartha. Give it a chance. All right, so Siddhartha is perhaps the most important and compelling moral allegory our troubled century has produced. Integrating Eastern and Western spiritual traditions with psychoanalysis and philosophy, this strangely simple tale, written with a deep and moving empathy for humanity, has touched the lives of millions since its original publication in 1922. Set in India, Siddhartha is the story of a young Brahmin's search for ultimate reality after meeting with the Buddha. He does indeed meet the Buddha. And his homie Govinda is with him. So what happens? What's the outcome? You've got to read this book. You're going to love it. And these books right here, The Alchemist at least, and this one right here, and the next one, you can read in a day. And you'll carry it with you forever. Okay. We're getting there, y'all. We are getting there. We have one last book. This was the second classic I ever read behind Robinson Crusoe. I can't believe that was the first. Actually, that was probably the first book I ever read. Remember in prior videos I've told you guys that I missed the Goosebumps, Point Horror, Fear Street. I missed all that as a young person because I was reading classics. I just started reading those books a few years ago. So I kind of cut my teeth on books like this. 1886, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Robert Louis Stevenson. Kidnapped, Treasure Island. Come on, baby. And look at this. It's 90 pages long. A nice big font. You don't have to have a telescope or binoculars to read it. Great, great thin book. It's about, well, its themes are Victorian morality, the individual and the mask that we wear, and the dual nature of humanity, right? It is a classic. You should read it, and it inspired so many horror novelists like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, you name it. The disturbing Mr. Hyde is making his repugnant presence known in late 19th century London, but punishment for his vile acts are always parried by the good and well-respected Dr. Jekyll. Soon, the secret relationship between the two men will be revealed. A classic that continues to be referenced today, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde will forever be locked in literary history. Damn it! What's wrong with me? I was stuttering there and it was hard to get out. See, I mess up all the time. I have students that stutter in class, and when it happens, I just continue to look directly in their eyes like it's no big deal, like it happens every day, and guess what? The stuttering stops because they know they're not being judged. And neither are you, especially when we're hanging out. You are amazing and wonderful exactly the way you are. And maybe I am too. I'm flawed, but I love you guys. I have a lot of love in my heart and a lot of love to give. That's why I teach. But teaching is really, really hard. So I do YouTube videos to reach a wider audience. And I love this community, and I thank you so very much for accepting me into it. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde wrote in between fits of... he would go in and out of consciousness. You know, can you believe that? He would be writing and he would pass out. I cannot remember exactly what the issue was. Maybe, forgive me, I don't know for sure. Maybe it was tuberculosis. Maybe it was something else. I cannot remember what the illness or sickness was, but he was writing this book in and out of consciousness because he had to. All of these books, they had to be written, and they have to be read by folks like me and you. Stay cool. I love you. Never, ever stop reading.